Today on Encore, from top male model to man on a mission. Today's guest was first snapped by Andy Warhol in the 1980s before coming to Paris and becoming the face of Gianni Versace and Jean-Paul Gautier. When he flipped to the other side of the lens, he travelled the world on fashion shoots for Vogue and Vanity Fair. After photographing some of the planet's most beautiful women, he's turned his camera onto a natural beauty, one on the brink of extinction.
In our lifetime, on our watch, we could lose a species. Can you imagine that? The rhinos, an iconic animal, gone.
Something That Matters is a film made by Lyon to help save the rhinos. Let's go meet him. Stephen, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, you spent years in the fashion world here in Paris, on the catwalk and behind the lens, taking photographs, travelling. What attracted you to Africa and this particular cause to save the rhinos?
I mean, like millions of people, I grew up dreaming of Africa, you know. And throughout my photography career, I've always been the location guy. You know, I've always convinced my clients that they should shoot that underwear in Namibia instead of the studio, which actually I did, by the way. In doing so, I really developed a love for the continent, and then I traveled extensively, both in my job and also personally. I've been going on safaris for over a decade. In doing so, I became aware of the situation. You know, the whole world knows about the elephants, which is horrible, and it's in no way any less severe than the rhinos. It's just the rhinos will be the first of the big five to go extinct. Yeah, elephants will be after that, and the lions aren't looking so good either down the road. Most people don't know about this. So I was made aware of the rhino situation, and I was also made aware of a 1,000-kilometer trek that some crazy African guides were coordinating. And when I heard about it, I immediately said, I have to come. And then I said, I need to bring a film crew. And then I said, I need to make a movie. I'd never done it before, but it's just something I knew I could do, and I knew I had to do it, and I'm in the middle of that journey.
Okay, well, let's take a look. This is a clip from your film, Something That Matters.
When we start to indulge the notion of the trade in animal parts, there's too much wrong with it for it to be right. I think what people don't realize is that for most of us, it comes at a great personal cost. We sacrifice much of ourselves for this, but it's the right thing to do. So you don't really have a choice.
So, I mean, it's an out-of-control problem. It required an out-of-the-box solution. And
So that was a clip from your film that you're halfway through making, called Something That Matters.
Yes.
Let's talk about the title. I mean, have you called it that because finally you feel like you've come from this world of fashion that doesn't really matter, and this is something that matters?
That's actually not far from the mark. The title came about, the head guide that was organizing the 1,000K journey called me in New York and said, why do you want to leave your cushy life of photographing beautiful women all over the world to come and walk 1,000 kilometers, do your business in the woods, sleep with lions and elephants in the tent, and pretty much it won't be comfortable? And I just immediately said to him, I said, you know, I have lived this cool existence it looks really good from the outside anyway, of traveling and women and fashion, and I said, you know, at the end of the day, none of it really matters. And then I just went, bingo, you know what? This is my film. It's my chance to do something that matters.
What's the hardest thing about making the film then?
Well, there's been a lot of hard things, but now the hardest challenge I'm finding is funding. And I think that's what every filmmaker goes through. I've talked to a lot of filmmakers like Stephen, welcome to the club. You know, and I...
Is it because people aren't interested in this?
No, I really can't answer that question. You know, everybody is supportive and go and rah, and we need more people like you, and it's going to be great, this looks amazing. But, you know, not writing the check yet. And I'm very anxious to get back because the situation is escalating. Last year at this time, the scale tipped. There's more rhinos now being killed than there are being born. So now it's a matter of time.
And I mean, I talked about it at the beginning. You've worked with the likes of Jean-Paul Gautier. You made a film directed by Luc Besson. So you are still brushing shoulders, presumably, with these people. Can you get them involved in this? Are they interested? Have you tried?
You know, it's possible. I hadn't thought about involving the fashion world in this film. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if fashion said, you know what, we're going to support Steve on this, and at the end of the day, I can say the fashion industry enabled me to make this movie. I would love to be able to say that, but I can't say it yet.
Okay. Are films the most effective way or an effective way of getting the message across for this, do you think?
Well, it's a way that I saw that I could do something. You know, we all have to pick our fights, pick our moments, and pick the way. A lot of people say, well, Stephen, you know, it's really great what you're doing about the rhinos, but what about those starving kids in East Los Angeles? It's not that I care any less about them. It's just this is the fight that I'm choosing to do. I'm, you know, it's an old thing. I'm going to fight for those that cannot speak. So I've just recently met and brought on a co-producer to the film. Her name is Katie Clary, and she's has a wonderful nonprofit called Peace for Animals, and her film is being released on Netflix next week called Give Me Shelter. And she's been walking the walk that I would like to walk. She's really an advocate, and I'm very fortunate, happy that she came on board. And I'm hoping together we will finish this movie. In fact, we will. There's no question. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And you're hoping to show the film in Cannes in 2016.
Yeah, that brings me to the Sundance Festival that's going on at the moment in Utah. Lots of documentaries on there, similar sort of themes, people tackling the environment. One of them is called How to Change the World, not a dissimilar title to yours. It charts the earliest days of Greenpeace as a group of Vancouver-based eco-freaks who kind of improvised their way into starting a global movement. Have you had a lot to do with Greenpeace?
Other than being a supporter, I have my monthly debit for about 20 years now to Greenpeace. I have always followed it. It's a wonderful, amazing thing. I'm not physically involved in it. Maybe I will be after. I founded a nonprofit company called Lionheart Love, which this is the first project under that umbrella. This movie is being produced as a nonprofit film. So it could be, I hope it's extremely successful, because that means a lot of people will see it, and that's the ultimate goal. But if it turns a profit, it goes into nonprofit.
Yeah, I want to show you a clip from How to Change the World, which is directed by Jerry Rothwell. Let's take a look.
Right.
We have a fine, if unconventional, blend of human talents. For every mystic, we have at least one mechanic.
It wasn't really a lot of people, but boy, did we do a lot of things. Day and night, we would be making lists of hundreds of things that we had to do. We really had fun with each other. We laughed and joked and pushed and probed, to the point that we had a whole other language going on amongst ourselves.
That was from the film How to Change the World. We're going to move on now to a different subject, a big subject in all of our lives, the subject of rubbish. Do you think about the amount of rubbish that you produce?
Every day. Every day. In New York, I have 3 trash cans, and I'm very adamant about... I even complain to a lot of my friends that come to my house, it's in the wrong bin.
One person who's really trying to make this issue kind of international, in the garden of his Los Angeles home, photographer Greg Siegel created 3 different settings, water, beach and forest, and he invited his friends, family and neighbours to save all of their rubbish for 1 week before photographing them surrounded by their pizza boxes, cereal cartons and wine bottles. Shona Bhattacharya reports now.
Art can be a dirty job. Just ask Ron Monroe. He and his family agreed to pose with 7 days of their own trash. Wrappers, containers, plastic bags. A week's worth of waste that serves as a reminder of the pollution we generate every day.
What is it creating? Who is it harming? And when you get to really see your trash, you go, wow, it makes you stop and go, wow, you know, maybe I should do something different.
Just as the Monroe family's trash dirties the snow they're lying in, photographer Greg Siegel chose natural environments for each of his subjects. Here, a couple floats in water, a reference to the more than 5 trillion bits of plastic floating in the world's oceans and rivers.
The problem is abstract, and it's very generalized. It's not on a human scale, and so I'm personalizing the problem by getting individuals and families to think more deeply about what they're doing by actually examining their own trash.
Siegel says some of the participants edited their trash, hiding the actual amount of rubbish they produced out of embarrassment. But the real shame lies in the numbers. Each person in the United States produces more than 2 kilos of waste a day, more than twice as much as in Western Europe.
Thank you so much for looking at that report and talking about your film and other films. The environment does seem to be a subject that's creeping into artists and filmmakers' work more and more, doesn't it?
Creeping. It should be being bombarded by filmmakers, and I think Hollywood is definitely taking notice and trying to be more conscious. I'm very much aware there's going to be a feature film done on the poaching situation this next year with some A-list celebrities. I can't say anything more than that, but I'm very excited about that. Okay. I think more can be done in all fronts as far as, my whole thing now is about the animals, but I spend every summer in Greece tripping over plastic bags in the water. It's unbelievable. Something has to be done globally, and I think there's a lot of people in this world that care and that are trying to make this happen, and I just hope it's not too much too late, but I don't think so. I think we're going to win.
Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
And a reminder for everyone at home, Something That Matters is Stephen Lyon's film about trying to save the rhinos. He's mid-shoot at the moment, and the film is due to be out in Cannes in 2016. Remember, we're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.